Hey, hi, and welcome to A Taste of Fusion. Today, I'm conjuring up yet another fantastic iftari menu. For my starter, I'm going to take a fusion bit on the Welsh rarebit and cheese toast. It's basically two different types of cheese toast coming together and merging as a glorious little appetizer. For my main course, I'm making drumsticks or hare masale wali drumsticks, green masala drumsticks. That's a mix of coriander, mint, yogurt, green chilies, all coming together and baked, so it's supremely healthy. And for dessert, well, I thought, what about a little blackcurrant bread pudding? Well, it's not a regular bread pudding, it's something utterly delicious and delectable. But now, enough of that. I'm going to go off, pick up my veg, get back to the kitchen and get cooking. Okay, we are ready to begin and I'm starting off with dessert, which means we're doing everything topsy-turvy. Okay, so get your pan on a high flame and into your lovely pan, pop in half a pat of butter, which is about 200 grams. Now today, what am I making, you might ask? As I said earlier, it's a sort of bread and butter pudding with blueberries in it. Now, blueberries you do not get here, so I'm actually using tinned blueberries, a compote or a filling, which is going to be fantastic. And I'm going to merge that together with some bread, cottage cheese, and that's it. Okay, so melt up the butter. And very quickly, as it begins to sizzle, let's grab some regular pieces of white bread. Now, I'm keeping the crusts on, I'm just breaking them up. And I'm just stirring them and popping them straight into my pan like so. There we go. So that's like 4 pieces of bread into 200 grams of butter. Very easy. Okay, then just fry it up. And as soon as it starts going slightly golden and soaking in the butter, put in half a pat of cottage cheese, and this is paneer that you can get, in the market locally. In that goes, smush it up, breaking it down, mixing it in. Now, as soon as you smell cottage cheese beginning to fry, and then that's lovely milky sort of aroma that starts rising, the bread becomes soft, pop in another 50 grams of butter, and that's just about 1 tablespoon. That's just to keep everything really moist. Okay. Keep smushing it, breaking the bread down. Now, here I have my tinned blueberries, and I'm going to pop in about 250 grams. And look at that lovely color. And of course, you do not get this fruit here because the climate does not allow it. You can get it in certain parts of the northern region, but very unlikely. Okay, so the blueberries are in. Mix it all up very, very quickly. Turn the flame down because you don't want to fry it too much. Like so. Look at that, it's fantastic. Now, just as the blueberries are cooking up, and I don't want it to become too dry, so I'm just going to put in 1 last tablespoon of butter at the end to create the gloss, to make it really lovely and shiny. So, it'll be really delicious when you eat it. If you check it out, I've not put in any sugar or jaggery or any form of sweetener into this entire dessert. I'm just going to let the preserved blueberries do their magic. And I'm going to turn the heat off and let it cool for 1 second. Now, here I have these regular styrofoam cups. You can use plastic cups or any other form. What I want to do is I want to fill this in and turn it out so I have a lovely cone of a dessert at the end, so I can tuck into it and eat like as many as I want and not feel too guilty. Now, these go into your fridge until it's time to plate up. Okay, now for our main course, which are green masala drumsticks. And our drumsticks I love because they're great fun food and they're fantastic at iftari. The green masala, well, that stems from, or the inspiration is hara masala, which is a mix of coriander, mint, yogurt, and a lot of different spices. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to bake these drumsticks with my fusion take on that. So first things first, I'm just going to pop an oven dish, which I have covered with foil over there. Then I'm going to grab a bowl, and in my rather large bowl, I'm going to pop in about 6 drumsticks. Now, I've scored these drumsticks. That means I've taken my knife and just given incisions in the meat right down to the bone, so all the flavor goes right through. Okay, so 6 drumsticks. Okay, now what am I going to add into these? First of all, the green masala or the hara masala. I've got some mint here and some coriander. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this coriander up, but I'm not going to put it in the chicken immediately. I'm going to chop it and keep it ready on the side, because if I put it in with all the spices and the marinade right now, it'll wilt and go brown far quicker than it would regularly. Okay, now same with the mint. Just take a couple of sprigs of mint. So I'm just going to keep the mint whole. Pop that to the side. So about 1 teaspoon of mint and a handful of coriander leaves. Into my chicken goes 1 teaspoon of red chili powder, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and ½ teaspoon of coriander powder. Now, I'm simply going to mix this up. But while I'm mixing it up, I'm going to add in a little sesame oil. Now, this is where I'm trying to fuse Southeast Asian flavors with our spices. So about 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, and then ½ tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. This is for the warmer lubrication or oiling of the meat that'll take it right down to the bone. Not done yet. Carrying on with the Southeast Asian flavor and the fusion bridge happening there, 1 tablespoon of soya sauce, and then the merger between East and West, ½ tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. Now, you wouldn't think that these things would go very well with our spices, but they do. I'm going to mix the chicken up. Make sure each lovely little leg, or drumsticky, as I like to call them, is coated. Okay, I think that should do it. All the chicken pieces seem to be well coated evenly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place them now on my baking tray quite evenly and apart, so they can cook and release all their flavors, like so. Try to make sure that the side which has the incision is on the top, so it will release all the juices downwards and your chicken will cook beautifully, evenly at the same time. Get all the juices in there, make sure they're coated well. That should do it. Right, so now my chicken is ready for the oven, but I'm not done with it. I'm going to take the mint and the coriander and evenly sprinkle it on it like so. Instead of the yogurt, what I'm going to do is use some cream, and I'm going to pour on about 3 tablespoons worth, but right in the center, not on the rest of the chicken. I want certain parts of the chicken to cook with the cream, and I want it to infuse out in a very different way. And what I actually want to do is protect the green masala at the end of the day. Now, finally, a squeeze of lemon and a little chopped ginger, just about half a teaspoon. Sprinkle that on in the center as well. And ½ a teaspoon of chopped garlic. And finally, before I pop it in the oven, I'm just going to take the foil off from the sides. And to really capture all that steam and all the juices in there, I'm going to cook it en papillote. That means I'm going to make a little parcel of it so none of the juices come out and the chicken cooks beautifully. So, what a lovely little parcel. And this goes into the preheated oven at 180 degrees for 35 minutes. Right, so our main course is in the oven. Now all we have left is our appetizer and to make our lovely drink. Right, now for our appetizer, which is a fusion piece of Welsh rarebit and cheese toast and a lot of other yummy things. So basically, I'm making my own fusion cheese toast. Very simply, I'm going to get a couple of slices of bread and lay them out like so. just going to sneak another one in there if I can. Now, on top of this, I'm not going to put in any butter. I've got some dried onion. I'm just going to sprinkle this on. It doesn't matter if it goes anywhere, everywhere, it's fine. This is all part of layering and the delicious aspect of Welsh rarebit. 1 large pinch of salt, sprinkle it over. 1 large pinch of red chili powder, again, evenly on each piece of bread. Then some balsamic vinegar. Now, when you do this, be careful because it's just there to stain the bread. So try to be even and make a nice pattern. Don't just throw it in there so the bread will become dark in one area only. Then some extra virgin olive oil. Generous sprinkling. Now for all the other ingredients. I've got some pepperoni over here. So, a little pepperoni. Next, I'm just going to put in a couple of slices of tomato, but not too much because tomatoes, it'll wet the bread through quite, too much, so I don't want that to happen. Just a layering like so. And then I have some fabulous cheddar cheese here. I'm just going to sprinkle it on, big, thick chunks. Okay, and then finally, just a squeeze of lemon. A little hint of spice from the east or the subcontinent, some cumin. Sprinkle that on top generously. And voila! This goes into the oven, which has been preheated for about 20 minutes at 180 degrees for 12 minutes exactly. Right, and I've taken my chicken drumsticks out from the oven. Why? Because they're done. They're perfectly ready and I'm going to keep them in the foil so they stay warm while I get started on making our fantastic iftari drink. Okay, now for the iftari drink today, I thought I'm going to use some apples. So I'm going to grab a lovely red apple that I have here. It's called Red Delicious. It's a mix of golden and red. And I'm just going to sort of cut around the core. I'm going to keep the peel on because I think the peel has a lot of fantastic nutrients and a lot of flavor, which gets lost in apple juice. And I, for one, am one of those people who likes cloudy or, pulpy apple juice, while a lot of people like distilled. And iftari, I say try out different things. And since you're making a mix, it should be utterly delicious. So I've peeled all my apples. Now I'm going to just grab my juicer. Into this, with my apples, I'm going to add some pineapple. Nice little mix, and you never think apple juice, pineapples, do they go together or not? So 2 teaspoons of pineapple, and again, this is a tin pineapple because I couldn't find any fresh. And I'm going to pour in about 4 tablespoons of the pineapple juice. Instead of using sugar, this is a great alternative. Pop my apples in there. And to, 1 person, 1 apple should be more than enough. If you want to make a whole jug of this juice, just use like 6 apples for 6 people. Okay, now to blend it up. Okay, so this is done, but because it's very, very thick, I'm going to add a little soda to it to sort of fizz it up and jazz it up just a little. So, half a can of soda, and stir it up, get some fizz going, and at this point, I'm just going to throw in 2 sprigs of mint, because I think the mint will go beautifully well with the apple and bring out the sweetness in the pineapple. And we'll just leave that in there. And now it's time to plate up. right, and I'm done. Now, let me take you through my fantastic feast. I started off with Welsh rarebit, which is basically cheese toast, but I created something completely new by putting in a little pepperoni, taking what's good in a pizza, meshing together what's really good in cheese toast, which is the tomato and the little bit of red chili. You know, it's something that's very traditional and it's something that's very light. Or you wouldn't think so. It's actually one whole meal in completion. So I love cheese toast. I thought, let me do something really different with it. So that's my appetizer, quick and easy. Now, for my main course, and I'm especially proud of that because I love drumsticks. I think they're a real fun food, but you can use chicken breast if you want to be more healthy or you like drier meat. Hara masala, the green masala, coriander and mint and green chili. Now what I did was that I baked the coriander and mint with the chicken, giving it a coating, or it's, you know, it was like the curtain on the chicken. And I put the green chilies in raw because I think they'll offset the sweetness that's going to come through with all the other spices in there. And again, that's really light and it's super fast. As you saw, it took less than 35 minutes, and to put it together, you don't have to be a master chef. So that's a fantastic thing at iftari. And another thing, kids love it. So put some drumsticks together. It's super healthy. Do not get fried stuff from outside. Do something at home to, you know, liven up your table. And of course, now, coming to dessert. You know, I thought, okay, fine. I love real sweet things. And at iftari, everybody tends to have a lot of sweet things. But what about the people who don't eat so much sweet? Or the people who are diabetic? The dessert I've made today is perhaps not perfect for diabetic people, but it's really good for people who don't like sweet things. There's a little bit of butter in there, there's some bread, there's some cottage cheese, and blueberries. Now, the blueberries are preservative from a tin, so, you know, they were pretty sweet, so I didn't add any extra sugar in there, and I just blended them together, put them in a cup, and of course, had a little bit of difficulty trying to get the cup off, but I just tore it off in the end and layered it onto my plate. Now, you could serve this with a little condensed milk, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. And finally, I come to my drink, which is my fabulous little mix of apples. So it's a pulpy apple juice with some pineapple tidbits in there. I blended it up and I just served it with a little soda mixed in. Perfectly fantastic, great, you know, to quench your thirst. It's refreshing and it gives you that, you know, kick of sugar that you so want. So I think that I have spoken enough about my food because I am dying to try it, and I know that you are dying to try out any one of these recipes. So remember, if you want to see me fuse something or you have any comments, write in on fusion@dawnnews.tv. From me, I'm gonna say goodbye and go out and try my food. So take care and see you next time.